Silverthorne Lumber Company versus United States was decided in 1920. And this case is known for two things. One, it establishes the beginning of what became known later as the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. That term wasn't actually used until a later case by Justice Frankfurter. But it essentially is an extension of the exclusionary rule, which says you can't use evidence against someone if that evidence was gathered unconstitutionally. If you've seen my cases, my videos on Boyd and Weeks, that goes into more detail about the exclusionary rule. The other thing it did is it suggested a way that you could overcome this taint if you obtain the evidence through an independent source, but it was mere dicta, it wasn't the point of the case. The facts of the case are this: the Silverthorne father and son team were arrested and charged with various white-collar crimes, and while they were arresting them without a warrant, they went and took all their business documents as well. Well, they made records, and the authorities, made records and copies of all the business documents. The Silverthornes went to court to try and get those documents back, which they ultimately did. And then the government, the United States, sent them official requests, much like they did in the Boyd case, and said, please turn over these documents because now we know what we need in order to pursue charges against you. Well, they refused. Silverthorne Jr., I believe, was thrown into jail until he would comply. And the U.S. Supreme Court took a look at the case and said, yes, this was a violation, and just because you obtained the documents illegally and unconstitutionally doesn't mean you can go back and use them to get additional evidence. They did hint there was a way to overcome this, and if it had been obtained from an independent source, or it doesn't mean like the evidence itself is sacred. It just means that because of how it was obtained, it couldn't be used.